Red alert, yeah. Got the dirt on my soul, no grandstanding.
Yeah, in this thing.
Red alert, get your body hold 12 alert. If I shoot, I murk, get yourself so touched. Red alert, where the angels clutch heat, where the halos rust, and the ops rush, but the prayers ain't much. Red alert, get your body hold 12 alert. If I shoot, I murk, get yourself so touched. Red alert, where the angels clutch heat, where the halos rust, and the ops rush, but the prayers ain't much. Red alert, get your body hold 12 alert. If I shoot, I murk, get yourself so touched. Red alert, where the angels clutch heat, where the halos rust, and the ops rush, but the prayers ain't much. Red alert, get your body hold 12 alert. If I shoot, I murk, get yourself so touched. Red alert, where the angels clutch heat, where the halos rust, and the ops rush, but the prayers ain't much. Don't ask.
Yeah.
Red alert, red alert, red alert, yeah. Got the dirt on my soul, no grandstanding.
Okay. I don't know. Why am I echoing?
Red alert, get your body hold 12 alert. If I shoot, I murk, get yourself so touched. Red alert, where the angels clutch heat, where the halos rust, and the ops rush, but the prayers ain't much. Red alert, get your body hold 12 alert. If I shoot, I murk, get yourself so touched. Red alert, where the angels clutch heat, where the halos rust, and the ops rush, but the prayers ain't much. Red alert, get your body hold 12 alert. If I shoot, I murk, get yourself so touched. Red alert, where the angels clutch heat, where the halos rust, and the ops rush, but the prayers ain't much. Red alert, get your body hold 12 alert. If I shoot, I murk, get yourself so touched. Red alert, where the angels clutch heat, where the halos rust, and the ops rush, but the prayers ain't
Okay. I don't know what that is. Let me see. Okay. You know what I sound like? All right, that's better. That's better. All right. All right, we can get into it now, man. Sorry about the little technical difficulties, you know. You know how it is. We finna get right into this thing. It's finna get real. You better know what you heard, man. This ain't just hype, this red alert. You know what I'm talking about? We coming to you unfiltered, uncut, and it's time to sound the alarm. Let's launch. All right. We supposed to have a debate today. If you tuning in today, you tuning in for not news. You tuning in for a hard hitting pause, um, back and forth, knockdown, drag out, if you will, debate from two top tier Houston Rocket enthusiasts. Um, both of us, you know, said we was gonna show up today, and we both intend to bring our arguments and let y'all check them out and hear what you know. Just listen to them and you make a decision. So I don't want to talk too much about the debate because I want to give him a chance to get here so he can say it's a fair fight. I don't want to prep nobody, but if he don't show up, then I'll just, you know, I'll give y'all what it is. But so this where we at. While we waiting on the challenger, I'm I'm taking questions in the chat. If you got any questions about, you know, what the debate format gonna be, any of that, you know, I can chime into some of that. If you are, you know, wondering just what we're gonna be debating about, it's in the titles in the topic. So feel free to chime in on what you think about it. If you have a preference, you know, you can chime in. It's not gonna sway my argument any. I don't think it's gonna sway King's argument any. But you know, so all this there. After the debate, if anybody wants to come up and tell what they think about the debate, or you know, whatever the case may be, come up and talk about your own preference about, you know, the topic, then I'll probably open up the lines. If anybody want to come up, I'll probably open up the lines after the debate. So, um, yeah, man, we, you know, we chilling, we waiting. You know what I'm saying? We holding on the challenger. He might be ducking. You know, sometimes you just gotta call him out before he pop up, so we know how that go. Um, but it's gonna be a fire debate. It's gonna be a fire debate. And I think overall, you know, yeah, there you go. I think overall um it's gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be informative, you know, and it's gonna be one for the ages. So I guess since he can hear me, I can start laying down the format. Um you can't hear me, huh? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me, King. And one if I sound good, because I was my mic was messing up earlier. It was echoing. I sounded like transformer, not a transformer. I was sounding like what's his name? Morgan Freeman, goddamn. They had your boy they had your boy echoing and everything. I thought, hello. Shit, I was resonating through all kind of dimensions. But yeah. Okay, so I can go ahead and start laying down the format. So when you come up here, we can have our opening statements. So that's basically how it's gonna go. I'm not gonna time the opening statements. I'm gonna let King get off his opening statements and you know, set up his, you know, his premise or whatever. Um, you know, and we're going to, you know, he'll give his opening statements, why he, you know, what why he took the debate, whatever he want to say to open up, and then when he go, I'll give my opening statements, boom boom boom. Since he's a challenger and I, you know, I'm the home team, I'm gonna let him go first. He can come out, throw the first haymaker. I'm gonna take it on the chin, pause, and then the rounds will alternate. Once we get the ultimate statements out, round one and round two will be on the clock. I got the clock right there under my name. It's blacked out right now, but when I want to go second, you don't want to go second, brother. You don't want to go second. But I mean, I'll give my opening statement first, if that'll help. How about I get my opening statement first, and then you go first on the argument. I mean, you if you want to go second, you the challenger. I'll let you choose. I'll let you choose. I'm the home team. I'll give you that. But you decide. If you going first, I mean, if you want to go second, you got to give your opening statement first. That way we'll keep it even. So the person whoever going second in the debate, they'll bring their opening statement out first, and then I'll come with my opening statement. Boom, and then I'll turn around right back around, and then I'll go first. You go second, and then maybe we switch it on the second round, or we can alternate. You know, maybe we switch it on now. Then you'll have back to back. So we'll just let it alternate. That way you don't have to go back to back 2 rounds in a row, because that's going to be hard for you if you have to go 2 rounds in a row. If you go second and then try to go third on the third round, I mean, I guess you might can. I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to you. I mean, we alternate. I had planned on going second, but I'll give it to you. Um, that's good. See, it say king on deck because you like to stack the deck in your favor. You know. But here we go. Here we go. So that's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna let him. We're gonna let the challenger decide. What position he want to go in. How he want it to run. But the clock will be on for rounds one and two. In the closing argument, I'll take the clock off again, and whoever went first in the opening statement will go second in the closing statement. So that's how we'll do it, and we'll just keep the middle rounds. You know, whoever gonna choose, and then boom, we'll alternate them like that. All right. So like I'm saying, round one and round two is gonna be time. The first and the last statement is not gonna really be time. I don't think there's too much you can say without hurting yourself in this situation. So we're gonna just let it flow in those opening and closing statements. Also, what we kind of want to do is we kind of want to grade it on a scale. You know, I'm gonna try to look at it from a scale performance. You know what I mean? Um, your opening statement really not being judged, but then it'll be 3 rounds after that. First round, second round, and closing argument. It'll be 3 rounds. Boom. So that way we'll know somebody's gonna have less rounds than the other person. Who won the first round, who won the second round, you know, who won the third round. So that way we can kind of keep it judged. And then as we get into the season, I'm going to take off with the real tournaments. The people who come up and do these debates is going to have home court advantage. And then through preseason, and then after preseason, I'll probably go ahead and shoot out the first set of gifts, and we'll start the tournament over again. You know, something like that. Something like that. That's how we're gonna roll it. Yeah, and it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. He threw me off guard. I wasn't ready to go first. I mean, you know, it's all gravy. It's all gravy. We ready for everything. All my days. Money done changed up the logo on me. What it do, King?
Then what it do, man?
Can I hear you? You saying something? I can't hear you at all.
Yeah, you can't hear me? Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo.
Okay, I can hear you. You saying something?
Nah, it's an echo though.
It's echo on your side.
Nah, I just hear you echoing.
What about that? You hear me echoing now?
No.
Somebody texted me right now. All right, I got it back. Got it back rolling. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's get it. Let's get it popping. Back to stage. Okay, now we good. Something like that. Okay. All right. Now we straight. Okay. So we can get into it. Now, how you said you want to do this? You gonna take the opening statements, and then I'm gonna start the debate first. That's how we gonna roll.
Right on.
So, all right, we're finna get into it. Anybody in the chat, let us know. Ones if we sound good. Twos if you hear anything glitchy. You feel free to chime in on the conversation. We won't be stopping and taking questions at the end. We will take questions from the chat and take off, King, whenever you're ready.
Salute to the host, first of all. Salute to the chat. I welcome y'all to this public execution, to this public beheading. The argument, the debate that I will be squashing on EF's channel, on this great platform, is that James the Beard Harden is without question, without a doubt, the second best player in the franchise history of the Houston Rockets. I'll show that by stats. I'll show that by accolades. I'll show that by pure performances. Anything less would be uncivilized. There's only one person who comes close to James Harden in this argument, in this debate, and that's the late, great Moses Malone. Moses Malone's stats don't hold a candle to James Harden. He didn't spend enough years in the foxhole to be able to compete with James Harden for that title neither. And being that neither guy won an NBA championship, the mere thought or fact of anyone who I'm expecting EF to try and put Moses Malone up against James Harden in comparison with their time in Houston will be a futile attempt. That's all I got.
Great argument. Appreciate it. You know what? I do got a. Let me see what that is. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. I do think what we have is we have somewhat of a controversy between ranking players in sports in the NBA and in Houston Rocket culture because of the fact that we are in the idea era. We're in the era of enlightenment. I think it's more to be said about what it takes to be the best of something or the best of some people's desires or the best of some people's fandomship. When it comes to the point of being the best of a franchise or the second best of a franchise, I think it goes more to the legacy. What defines greatness? What defines greatness? And so, what I want to do is, I think it's important that we look at how can you call somebody the best or greatest of something, and if he is the best, does that make him the greatest? And if he's not considered the greatest or the second greatest, then can we look at, you know, is it clear that he's the best? So this is the argument that I really want you to pay attention to. Is it clear that he's the best if he's not the second greatest? If there's an argument about his greatness overall to where we can look at it and say it's not clear that he's the second greatest, then it's not clear that he's the second best. That's my argument. Okay, that's where we at. Now, So since I'm up first, I'm gonna hit the timer and I'm gonna get right into it. Let me share my screen because then once I hit the timer, I want to go ahead and get it to pop. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hit the timer first because I don't want y'all to be ready for this. All right.
Don't be alarmed, Renee.
Okay. So this is what we're looking at. I want to draw attention to something right here. Is Clyde Drexler or Robert Ory the second best Rocket ever? Is Clyde Drexler or Robert Ory the real second in legacy impact? That's what we want to look at. Legacy includes culture, heart, sacrifice. Those are key things that we're looking at in this particular situation with two of what I consider underrated, but still arguments for the second best Rocket ever. Why do I say this? What happens after you leave? What happens while you there? Clyde Drexler had Hall of Fame impact in the championships. He arrived in 1995, instantly helped win a championship alongside the King. He's a 10-time All-Star, Olympic gold medalist, Dream Team, top 75 all time, and competed fearlessly against Michael Jordan. One of the things that we want to look at is if James Harden was in the same situation as Clyde Drexler, would he have competed with that amount of effort and doggishness, even while getting torched? Okay. One of the only players considered to really rival Michael Jordan. Still averaged 19 points per game in his 30s, played deep into the playoff. After the title run, didn't just ride the wave, but he was also a key part of it. We want to look at Robert Ory. He played only 4 seasons in Houston, but 2 of the seasons while he was there, he won titles. He was known for being a clutch player in the playoffs, 100 and 100 and 100. He left the team in '96, and after that, the Rockets never won, never went to another title, but he did. He was a definite impact to the 2 titles. You could say for as greatness is concerned, Robert Ory is one of the greatest basketball players in the same vein as Wilt. He was just a star in his role. He was a glue guy, floor spacer in the area that needed. He changed the culture. When there's an argument that can be made, no matter how uncommon, the definite is reduced by the margin of that argument. I repeat that. When there's an argument that can be made, no matter how uncommon, the argument is, the definite is reduced by the margin of that argument. With that, I'm going to yield my time. I'm going to take this off the screen, and it should be right about now when we get to let King go ahead and get in.
Don't be alarmed.
So do not be fooled. Do not be swayed.
Hold on, let me get your clock going. All right. As soon as the buzzer go off, you can get it in.
Don't be alarmed, Renee.
So again, don't be fooled or swayed by the foolery. Okay, this is a typical magician, wolf ticket seller. They want to show you one thing when really they're trying to pick your pocket. Bringing up what players did before or after they left the Houston Rockets is not the debate. We're not debating all-time players, all-time success accolades, or legendary status. What we are debating is who stands head, shoulders, knees, and toes at the number 2 spot all time for the Houston Rockets organization. Okay, so that eliminates Clyde Drexler and Robert Ory. Robert Ory was nothing more than a role player. He was a very young guy. The Rockets had him for a couple of years, and that was it. That was all. They shipped him off for Charles Barkley. So he was in Houston a handful of years. Clyde Drexler played 3 full seasons with the Houston Rockets. 3 full seasons. He did win a championship, but I don't think that any player who's there for that short of a time can be considered an all-time great for that particular franchise. He is known as a Portland Trailblazer. That's where he did his most damage. That's where all his numbers was. He was in Houston 3 years. He never scored more than 20 points a game his entire time in Houston. Um, he was a nice addition, but he's nothing more than Chris Paul. And I don't think that anybody would consider Chris Paul, the best point guard of all time for the Houston Rockets organization. He wouldn't be put in those conversations. So, to my argument, James Harden spent 8 full seasons with the Houston Rockets. 8 full seasons. In those 8 seasons, he's an 8-time All-Star. He's 6 times first-team All-NBA, 1 time third-team All-NBA. He won the MVP. He's a 5-time score. No, he's a 3-time scoring champion, 1-time assist champion. I don't have to dig into all of the numbers, which I'm going to dig into a lot of them, but you kind of get the point. When you compare James Harden, his time in Houston, the amount of numbers that he put up, the games that he won almost 400 games, 391 games to 200 losses. His career statistics as a Houston Rocket is at 29.7 points a game. All time, that is number one. That's my time.
Okay. Let me hit my joints, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kick though.
Don't be alarmed, Renique.
All right. Now, as we see here, is Kevin Murphy second best Rocket ever? Is Kevin Murphy the second best Rocket ever? 17.9 points per game. That's 18 points a game. 4.4 assists, 13 seasons, all with the Houston Rockets. Former Hall of Famer, franchise leading scorer. Still active in the Rockets community and media. Ultimate loyalty, ultimate team player, ambassador, career free throws 89.2, among the all-time leaders in free throws, including James Harden. Rockets all-time leader in games played. Rockets all-time leader in games played. Okay. Kevin Murphy scored 57 points versus New York in 1978. He scored 57 points on 24 of 40 shooting, 60% plus 9 free throws. He set a Rocket franchise single game scoring record that stood for 4 decades until James Harden surpassed in 2018. Despite his scoring, the Rockets lost the nail biter 106 to 104 at home. He played that type of game in a game as he lost. He went down swinging. Kevin Murphy was a fighter. At his stature, he was one of the most vicious, tenacious players ever in the NBA. so much to where he even fought to get in the Hall of Fame. Clutch playoff points. Let's talk about clutch playoff points. In a game 7, Calvin Murphy in the Western Conference Finals scored 42 points on damn near 70% shooting. Come on, let's talk about it. 19 of 28. He did not go 9 for 11. He did not go 9 for 11 or 4 for 12 or nothing like that. He powered Houston's upset victory over San Antonio Spurs, a number 6 seed beating a number 2 seed. That's what we do. That's why we Clutch City. Finished 105 to 100, sending the Rockets to their very first NBA Finals. NBA Finals. Let's talk about what that word means, NBA Finals. This remains one of the most iconic elimination games performances in Rockets history. Peak efficiency, performance versus Atlanta Hawks, 38 points, 3 steals, had no turnovers, giving him a career high game score 49.1. All right. Boom. My core claim is that the greatest teams in history are always they stay loyal, either by spending their whole
Don't be
career one
alarmed.
team or leaving when it's best interest of the team. All right, boom. Now, I spent a little extra on Calvin Murphy. I could have went on ahead and chopped it up. Let's get back over here. Let me remove my screen. I'm gonna hit the clock for you, then you can go ahead and get it in.
Okay, well, I seen go. So I kind of spoke on this a couple of days ago. So, it's predictable. Um, he would try to tap into people's emotions as opposed to sticking to the facts of the argument. So, all time as a Rockets player, um, just overall, James Harden for the franchise is second all time in points. He's seventh all time in rebounds. He's first all time in assists. He's sixth all time in steals. He's eighth all time in blocks. He's first all time in 3-pointers made. In a per game stats, points per game, first. Rebounds, 40th. Assists, second. Steals, sixth. Blocks, 40th. 3-pointers, first. In the playoff stats, per game, first. Rebounds, 38th. Assists, second. Steals, third. Blocks, 31st. 3-pointers made, second. And so the first one, total stats, just as a Rockets player, he's second in the playoffs all time. Playoff points scored. He's second all time. He's first all time in assists. He's second all time in steals. He's first all time in 3-pointers made. Overall, regular season, he's first in free throws made, first in 3-pointers made, first in 3-pointers attempted, second in free throws attempted. He's sixth in games played, first all time in 40-plus point games with 98, first all time with 50-plus point games with 23, first all time with 60-point-plus games with 4. James Harden's numbers and fingerprints is all over this organization. He still has the Harden Day routinely, annually in the city of H-Town, even though he's no longer with the Rockets and haven't been with the Rockets for about 4 years. He still has his impact within the community. His jersey is going to be raised into the rafters. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And his legacy, what he is going to be remembered for, will be that of his time with the Houston Rockets. With far less talent, never playing with another superstar in a prime, right? In the Western Conference. He led the Houston Rockets to the playoffs the entire 8 years that he was here for full seasons. And he led them to the Western Conference Finals twice, taking one of the greatest dynasties of all time to 7 games. That's my time.
All right, like I said before, great. Yo, hey, look, it's fire. The fire smoking up in here. We getting it warmed up. This how we finna do. We finna do the closing round. King took the opening round first, so I'm gonna do the closing round first. We're gonna keep it going like it is, and then he gonna go ahead and give you the closing round argument, and then after that, we'll take questions from the chat. We'll do some little sparring back and forth, you know, and we gonna chop it up. And then what we're gonna do, you know what I'm saying, after we do this right here, we're just going through our regular show unless King got something to do, and then we'll come back and do a review on this right here, on another stream. Cause I wanna, you know what I'm saying, I wanna come back and do a review where we can pull it up and then we can talk about it at face value. Okay. So this round the clock not gonna be going. So this what I'm gonna do. I'm still gonna keep it kind of brief. I ain't gonna drag y'all along too much because this is a simple argument, bro. This is a simple argument, Brody. Look at this. King said out the gate. King said it out the gate. That there's an argument that Moses Malone could be the second greatest Rocket ever. He said it out the gate. He made the argument for us, people. We don't even have to question whether there's an argument because my challenger told y'all that there was an argument. He brought that to the debate. He said, hey, look, listen, y'all, I'm finna argue something that I already know is wrong. He gave y'all the argument. Listen, why do I say this? Because what we're talking about is it clear? Like, why do people crown somebody the greatest of something just because they just to say something out their mouth? Is greatness defined by just skill set, or is loyalty a defining trait of greatness? Legacy is more than just stats, it's culture, impact, identity. All that matters as much as just the statistics. What my man's is trying to do, my man's is trying to overload y'all with numbers. This ain't Scientology, bro. We don't do all the numbers. We not 5%ers. We not know none of that, bro. This ain't a algorithm. We is fanatics. We want to know about the legacy. We want to know about the loyalty. We want to know about the commitment, the passion, what it is that makes you you. Moses Malone began his prime in Houston. 2 MVPs, 17, 18 rebounds a game. I don't even have to go through the stats. The reason why the stats is here, because I knew he was going to bring up Moses Malone to try to deter you from the fact that there's an argument. So he wanted to shoot the argument down first. Let me get this off the screen so we can knock this out and get y'all out the way, man. We're going to go ahead and let y'all get on about your day. If anybody in the chat agree or disagree, look, hold on, like we on the time. I'm gonna approach that. But I see you. We're gonna approach. If y'all have anything to say, we're gonna let y'all get it off when it's y'all turn to get it off. If you want to come up and say what you got to say, you can come up and say what you got to say. I know it's people out there listening that got something they want to say. Greatness is about winning. Greatness is about legacy. Greatness is about giving the people who come after you shoulders to stand on. Is the person with the most skill automatically the greatest or the best? If Kyrie Irving is widely regarded as the most skilled point guard ever, is he the greatest Cavalier? Is he the best Celtic? Is he the greatest Net, the New Jersey, Brooklyn Net, or Maverick? Have we gotten to the point today to where Lamar Jackson is going to be compared above the greats in Baltimore? We even have to ask because today we are forced to define and redefine what greatness is. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I want to be clear. James Harden is great or was great. But does he exemplify greatness? Only reason I only ask is because it's not clear. It's not clear that Harden has the greatest heart. It's not clear that Harden made the greatest sacrifice. It's not clear that Harden showed the greatest dedication or loyalty. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? Nobody can say it's clear. Because as for me as a Rockets fan, somebody who remember the losses, shortcomings, playoff heartbreaks, the way he left, even if he intended on coming back, it's not clear it was for the team. It's not even clear it was the best thing for the team. Look, other players in their past, even past their prime, they brought championships to Houston. Other players weren't the biggest stars, but their impact was felt in the rings they brought to Houston. And then the rings they took everywhere else. If Harden was the clear-cut number 2, guess what? This debate wouldn't even exist. Debate wouldn't even exist. He would have never brought up Moses Malone. The debate would have never even exist. The fact that we having a debate says everything. The only thing I can say I'm clear, the only thing I can say I'm clear of, the only thing I can say that is absolutely clear to me is that Harden should be considered for the second best. He should be considered for the second best Houston Rocket of all time. But the second greatest is out the question. The second greatest is out the question. That's a title that I still reserve for high standards. I yield.
I hope you're paying attention, people. Do not let this man near you. On Malcolm X, there was a scene right before he died. A dude stand up and say, "Take your hands out of my pocket." This man is trying to distract you so that he can pick your pocket. Understand, when I mentioned the late, great Moses Malone, my anticipation was that that's the guy he was going to try to put up against Harden. I never said it was a debate. I specifically said Moses Malone don't have enough years in the foxhole. He wasn't on the Rockets long enough. And even if you do consider that he was there long enough, his stats, his impact, overall, his time in Houston does not stand the test of time. He had more success in Philadelphia than he did in Houston. It's no way he could be put up against James Harden if you look at it critically. But he decided not to go with Moses Malone as his argument. He tried to take you down the yellow brick road and led you nowhere. This is all sleight of hand. Oh, if there wasn't a debate, well, then we wouldn't be having this debate. How does that sound, people? That's not even partially a logical argument. People debate everything, right? Pumpkin pie versus sweet potato pie. Michael Jordan versus LeBron. Michael Jordan is clearly the GOAT. But that's what we do in this society. Everything is a debate. That is a crazy, crazy, crazy argument for him to try to make. James Harden's legacy, He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's what he's going to go down as. First ballot Hall of Famer. Top 75 player of all time. Top 3 best scoring guard of all time. One of the best scorers, maybe top 5 scorers, just flat out scorers of all time. For his era, he was 1 or 2. You're going to either say him or you're going to say KD. And KD never put up the scoring numbers that James Harden did for any regular season. He never averaged 36 a game. I don't think he ever averaged 34 a game. He never had a 60-point game. So there, if you want to talk about an argument, you can argue who was the better scorer in their era between James Harden and KD. There's no debate on who stands at number 2 all time for the Rockets. Again, he lifted the Rockets out of purgatory. That team was not making the playoffs. They had missed the playoffs 3 to 4 consecutive years before James Harden got there. And the moment he walked in the door, not only did he turn the Houston Rockets into a playoff team, he turned them into an NBA championship contender. And that was for the vast majority of his time in Houston. There is no debate. There is no debate. And last but not least, because I'm not going to waste y'all time, with the nonsense of trying to play sleight of hand, to misguide y'all. Loyalty that he wanted to speak on. This is a business. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Us as fans have no loyalty for guys once they leave our building. I don't care how much you like them or love them. When they leave your organization, you turn the page on them. Some people hate them. Some people burn their jerseys. You know what I'm talking about? Other people take it in stride and they just remember them for what they brought to their franchise. I'm one of those guys. When Jerry Rice left the San Francisco 49ers, I didn't hate Jerry Rice, but I wasn't holding on to it. It happened. Joe Montana left. Deion Sanders got traded. Terrell Owens left. These are all Hall of Fame players. When they left my franchise, that was it. So I'm not going to put some loyalty label on the players when they are in a business agreement with the team. They get paid to provide a service. And so if they decide to take their talent somewhere else to get paid somewhere else, so be it. It does not erase what James Harden done for the Houston Rockets franchise. It does not erase what James Harden does every single offseason in the city of Houston for young kids, who don't have. Man, I hope y'all can still hear me. I got a phone call. Can you hear me, EF?
You good? You good?
Yeah. So it doesn't take away from, uh, kids in the city who don't have from kids in the city who don't have or for the opportunities with his camps that he helped those kids try to learn fundamentals of basketball. This all comes down to James Harden, number 2 all time for the Houston Rockets organization. There is no debate. Clear cut as it comes. That's my time.
All right. That was a good one. That was a good one. You had me over here rolling, bro. I'm over here dying. Okay, let's get into some of the comments. We're gonna go up a little bit. Matter of fact, let's start from right here. We'll go up. Okay. Matter of fact, we just go from right here. I think Harden holds 2 titles for the Rockets. Most disappointing and the second and the second best Rocket ever. Oh my days. If he had a better
Honestly, I
playoff
agree with
record,
that.
there would be no decision. Okay, we sounding good. Okay, bet. Appreciate your impressive art.
If he had, if he
Uh,
had, if he had a title or two, he'd be in the argument against Elijah Warren, being that
most
he could
definitely.
never get over the hump and get to even win one championship. That kind of hurt him. That killed any debate for him being in an argument with Elijah Warren.
If he'd have got over the hump, and I'll give you this, I'll concede this, that I feel like Harden's intention when he left was to leave, go chase a title, and come back to Houston. I think he'll still come back to Houston, but I think that was from a I love Houston as the city place and a little bit of a selfish place, as in I want to go have my cake, eat it too, which I love having my cake and eat it too. I think that's the stupidest statement ever. That's the most cliche, dumb shit I ever heard in my life. But I think that was his kind of idea is that I'm going to leave. I'm going to go over here and do this with my boys. I'm going to come back and I'm going to end up my career in Houston. But I think it was from a selfish place. I don't think it was based on what was best for us as fans and as Houston Rockets. Um,
But at the time, the roster was kind of messed off, and so once Russell wanted to be traded, well, then it wasn't no need for him to stay.
But see, he still could have just stayed and been like, okay, boom, I'm just gonna go out here and get my numbers, and we still lose. I mean, yeah, he can carry a team to the playoff by himself. But I mean, even if he'd have been like, okay, I'm hurt for a year. If he'd have went to Stone and said, hey, Stone, look, I'm gonna be hurt for a year, bro. So y'all can go ahead and tank this year and get these draft picks. I don't think nobody would have had a problem with that. But I don't have a problem with him going to New Jersey or to Brooklyn to go play with KD and Kyrie and thinking that he was going to come back. My argument is, if he didn't come back, it was a reason. Tell the people the reason why he didn't come back. Keep it a bean.
Ma didn't want
Thank you.
him.
Thank
Ma
you.
didn't want him, but that Ma had a vision on how he wanted the team to play. And so it was a defense. It was a defense first vision. He needed somebody that was going to buy into it. I don't think that he wanted the. Hold on.
No, so this is the thing. Listen to what he's saying. Ime didn't want the man back, even if the argument that I made was clear. Is that the fact that he didn't make it back to Houston when he had a chance to come back? It points directly to the fact that there's an argument to be made about if he's the best, the greatest, or any of that.
That's
Because if you
false.
was that boy, Ime would have been like, "Come on back." Let me tell you
No,
something. If Elijah
that's
Warren or
no,
Clyde Drexler, Robert Horry would have been like, "Hey, I'm ready to come back to Houston." Ime would have took him back. It's a reason
bro.
why they didn't take him back because they felt like something about his bestness or greatness wasn't going to help the team. It was going to make the team worse. So they passed on him.
No. There's goalpost moving and hyperbole. You can't say that because Ma wanted to go a different direction that means James Harden wasn't going to help the team. That's ridiculous. He's clearly
That's
a
not what I
better
said.
player. He's clearly a better player than Fred VanVleet. But Fred VanVleet would buy into a defense first approach. James Harden wouldn't. Fred VanVleet would buy in to the offense or the system not revolving around him. James Harden is a system all by him in himself. He said as much. You got a team full of young players. Ime Udoka is trying to teach these guys, to play a certain way. That doesn't take away from the greatness that James Harden exhibited as a Houston Rocket. You're trying to conflate the fact that Ime didn't want him. That means he wasn't that great. No, we're not doing that, EF. Like you moving the goalposts and you trying to fool people, man.
No, this ain't no goalpost, bro. This ain't, listen, let me tell you something. I ain't conflating, inflating, I ain't, you know what I mean? None of that. None of that. The flamboyant, I ain't doing none of that. I ain't moving no goalpost, none of that. All I'm saying is simple. What I'm saying is simple. If Drexler would have left in, like, right after the years that he was in his prime, if Drexler would have left and been like, hey, I'm gonna go over here, play 2 years away, and then I want to come back, and he tried to come back, you don't think the Rockets would have took him after tanking and getting 5 or 6 rookies? Yes, they're gonna take him back. They're gonna take Drexler back. They're gonna take Kevin Murphy back. They're gonna take Moses Malone back. The fact that they didn't take James Harden back was clearly indicative of what you said. His bestness also can be attributed to his lack of defensive prowess, or his lack of desire to play defense, his lack of effort on the defensive end, the sacrifice. So the key words that I was saying was sacrifice. Heart. Did he have that?
Now, James Harden was on Rockets teams that was in the top 5 defensively. So that's not it. And you saying what Ime would do with those old players back in the day is hyperbole. You don't know that he would want an old Clyde Drexler. You don't know that he would want Robert Ory. Like you simply don't know. You don't know that he would want Calvin Murphy. This is just hyperbole by you, bruh. James Harden did play defense, but again, I'm saying I don't know. Ime never said why it was. This was all just reported. But the team, the organization wanted Harden back. Tillman Fertitta wanted him. Raphael Stone wanted him.
Tillman
But since
Fertitta
they had
said
just
pray for
hired it,
Victor. He said Tillman Fertitta said pray for Victor. You talking about a dude who said
I'm
pray for
talking
Victor?
about in free agency. Yes. He said pray for Victor. That was our
He said
how
Victor
many
though.
years? How many years had we been what's the name? We had been losing a couple of years.
Man,
What was
listen, but
that?
listen to this though. You said that James Harden lifted his team out of purgatory. Bro, we was above 500.
No, we was
We was
not.
above 500. Listen, in 2010, 43 and 39. In 2011 and 2012, 34 and 32. We was above 500 both years before James Harden arrived. We missed the playoff, but we was above 500. That's just
Bruh,
because the West is deep.
how can you be 34 and 32, fam, in this 81 games?
Hey, well, hey, that's the
How?
numbers I got. That's the numbers I got.
Yeah, well, I
I
don't know what
can't
numbers
do
you
it.
looking at. Them numbers is wrong. And you say
Listen,
you say 43. That
43
ain't
and
what I
39.
remember. Okay, I'd have to go back and look at it and see if that was, before um uh Yao Ming had left or whatever. I'd have to dig back through it. And I didn't got in my car. But
And then you made a
again,
point like James
bro,
Harden.
bro, I didn't
Would have
already
been above
won. I won that
35.
debate he have just for the record. You still trying to debate the debate? I
No, we
smoked you
don't.
in that already.
We taking comments, but I'm gonna let the chat decide. I'm gonna let the chat decide. We was touring. We did 3 rounds. Your round was first. My round was second. Boom, 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 boom. And the third round, we're gonna let them choose on the first round who won, who arguments, and then second round who won, and then third round who won. If they say 2-1, 3-3, 1-2, 2, whatever, 1 for your favor, 2 for your favor, and we'll let the chat decide. But right now, I'm just taking the chat what the chat saying, and we'll let them think about it while we had this discussion.